Hello, Michelle. Good to have you. I think we're going to work on some drop down management in Bridge.
Exactly. So I have an attendance roster, and every single day, we add people, we lose people, churn in a office, and so I have multiple drop downs that need to get updated, and having to copy the list and then go update the drop downs, and then we've added new employees, and now I have to go update all those drop downs again. You've told me there's easier ways.
Yes, there are.
I originally had a data shuttle method, which would offload my list of employees every night as an Excel attachment, attach it to the sheet, and then re upload it every single night to those drop downs. And because you can only update one drop down with an export, I had to have multiple shuttles running at the same time to get the 3 drop downs that need to be updated
Oh, yes,
per
sir.
manager. So with 2 managers per shift, that was 12 different ones that ran just to import the data.
Oh, some pretty fancy data shuttle work, though.
Thank you. But you've told me there's a new way, and I'm here to learn.
Yep. We're going to be using your Smartsheet Bridge.
Ooh,
Yep.
the final frontier of Smartsheet.
Oh, is that what they call it? So do you have some sample source data for your drop downs?
I do. Let me share my screen. So I've made a copy of exactly the type of information we would be using. I decided to put a few other names in here like Dwight Schrute and Michael Scott.
Okay.
So this is exactly what my sheet looks like. I have my list of employees. Here's manager A and manager B. And then I have my attendance sheet with the multiple drop downs for each of those managers. And then you told me it was really easy to go ahead and do it from a report. So I pre-made my report that looks just at manager A and one that looks at manager B.
Okay.
I've already logged into Bridge.
All right. That's helpful. Save a little bit of time there.
Next step, I assume we're
Good.
creating a new workflow.
Yep. Go ahead and hit that new workflow. It's very intuitive there, at least. And here's your new workflow. And remember, give it a nice descriptive name because you're not going to be able to change it.
Oh, okay. So after I name it, no way to change it.
Nope.
Good to know. So we'll call this drop down update office group A. Okay. That seemed
Okay.
easy.
Yep. It was. So the trigger, we're going to leave the trigger for now. We're going to be triggering it manually. And with you using a report for your source, we may use a schedule trigger and have it updates every 15 minutes or so. Now, I was just thinking about this as you were going through it. I've been quiet, but there's a lot going on up here, upstairs here. I was just thinking, since you have those 2 columns in your sheet, was it Shift A and Shift B?
A and manager B.
No,
Yes.
Manager A, Manager B. You could actually trigger based on that. So if one of those, let's say you add a new employee to that sheet, we could have that trigger your bridge workflow. Your bridge workflow would go pull from that report and then update your destination sheet. And we wouldn't have to wait for the 15 minutes. It would just happen within a couple minutes if you're interested in doing that. A little
I
twist
leave
on it.
that box checked
Mhm.
sometimes when we offload an employee.
Okay.
So if the workflow is looking at everybody who has that box checked, it could be
Mhm.
pulling in some employees that no longer work for us.
Okay. Do you have a status column?
Do.
Yeah. So we could trigger based on that status column changing.
Ooh. Okay. You want to
Yeah.
show me how to do that?
Yeah. But we'll do that after we do your flow. But let's set up
Okay.
your flow. It's easier to set up manual trigger, and then add those fancy triggers in later. we have our trigger, we have a start state. I think the first thing you're gonna wanna do is get the source of the drop down. So that
Okay.
will be, yep, go to integration, Smartsheet, and then there's a get report.
We're gonna do it off the sheet though, since we're gonna.
Um, no, we're actually gonna pull the data from the report,
Okay.
but we can use the sheet to trigger it.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Kind of put a little twist on this. So yeah, okay. So you have to connect this with Smartsheet. So Bridge is of course a premium Smartsheet product, but when you create a new workspace in Bridge, you need to connect it to Smartsheet. Interestingly enough.
All right. So if I click Let's Connect,
Yep.
so it's gonna ask me if I can do all these different things. Oh, it can even delete sheets and create sheets.
Deleting sheets is scary.
It is.
Yep. You should see my Smartsheet account.
Is that pretty scary?
Yeah. Lots of sheets in there.
Right. So click Allow. All right. That seemed easy.
Yep. So yeah, go ahead and close that window or close itself. So now Bridge is connected to your Smartsheet account. And to get the report, it's very easy. You just go to your report and grab the report ID. Yep. So we just copy that, bring it over there, hit the report, paste it in. Now, one thing I want to show here, it's not going to be an issue for you right now because you don't have a lot of data. However, if you go to, I think it's filters and it has results per page,
Okay.
um, it always defaults to 100. What that
Okay.
means, if you had 101 employees on your report, you'd only get 100. If you have
Got it.
a 500 employees on that report, you'd only get 100.
Okay.
Now, there is a limitation on the Smartsheet API. Puts up, you can only have up to 10,000 results in a page, from what I remember. Um, we could look that up to verify it. But what I like to do there is just put 10,000 in, and that way, as you grow, if you get to the over 100 mark, then you're not going to break anything.
Without the comma.
Yep, yep, without the comma.
Okay.
Yep, just a number. So, and you don't have to put 10,000. You're not going to have 10,000 people in this, I'm sure. Maybe you will one day.
Oh,
You could put 1,000 or something, but 10,000, remember, fine, great. You'll have room for growth. So that's the only tweak I want to make. That's a common kind of got you with these is that I've learned the hard way, of course, that you have this big data set, and it may not be that big. It may just be 150 records on rows on there. And then you're saying, why am I only getting 100 on my drop down list? Because you have to change the results per page. So we have your report set up. We have Bridge to pull the data from your report. Let's go ahead and test this real quick. Just so you can see what's happening here. Yep, go to the run log there, and you can hit the little play button or the run button there. And in just a few seconds or so, there it's running, it's waiting. It's completed. Go ahead, click on that. Look at that Smartsheet Get report,
oh,
and you'll see report, and this will be the data that's been read by Bridge.
oh.
And if you open up the rows there, that rows array,
A
you
rose
can see the
array.
day.
Okay.
There's some objects. There's 8 of them. And you can expand those. Take a look at what's in there. We have a cells object. So you can expand the cells object and expand that ID there. And there is your the value. So
So if I
that's
had
one
100
option.
employees, I'd see 100 here now.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Well, you would see 100 objects under a row.
Okay.
Yep. And each row object contains a cells object, and the cells object is where the actual values live.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So now what do we need to do? We need to get those values from that rows array and put them into a drop down on that sheet. Now, there's a step we need to do first before we just directly update the drop down. We're going to need to extract some data from that array. So there is you can actually search the workflow elements at the top up there, and it's called array management, extract field from array.
Do you manage that?
Yep, there it is, extract field from array. Like the
Extract field from array. And then I can just
drop
drag
that
and
in there.
drop.
Yeah, drag and drop.
All right.
Okay. So in here, we have the array that we're going to have to put in, and we'll have a key. So let's go back to that run log. The easiest way is go to the run log again.
So the run log.
And we don't need to run it. We just look at this. You already have it open here. And we're going to want to grab that rows array. Go to that little menu on the right and hit copy data reference. And then go back to your extract field from array and paste that in the array field. Now, go back to your run log here.
I'm going to hit save first because save often with Smartsheet.
Yeah. Save off of a Smartsheet, save off of a Bridge. Yep, for sure. Okay, open. You don't need to run it again. Just pull that up because we have to get the key for this data. So
Okay.
expand that rows again, expand that rows array. Remember, we copied the data reference to that specific rows array. Now we have to then tell Bridge where to get the data from. So expand one of those objects.
Okay.
And we have to go to cells. So it's going to be cells. And then we have to get that number there at 2499. That is a virtual ID in this report column. So we're going to need that number and then expand that again. We don't want to copy data reference though. I'll show you. And then the value we actually want is called value. So go ahead and the easiest way is to go to that where it says virtual column ID. Go ahead and click on that and don't do data reference, but do copy JSON source. Okay. So now go back to your array management.
Uh-huh.
And in that key field, type cells
Uh-huh.
dot, and then paste what you copied in. There you go. Got that number right there. And then dot value. Yep.
Okay.
So this will tell Bridge to grab the value of the value field or the value key from that column in the cells array. And our output's going to be an array. That's fine. Leave it like that. So then the next step is we could test it. Let's test it so you can see where this is going step by step. And I guess go ahead and run it. And we're just going to confirm we have that. That can help you when you're working on Bridge to test each step to make sure that gives the output that you're looking for. So go ahead, let's expand that. And we should have an array of 8 results with the names.
Look at that.
Look at that. Perfect.
Why does it start at 0?
That's the first index. Just like in most programming languages, when you have arrays, the index starts at 0
No.
instead of 1. So
I may know some languages, but programming is not one of them.
okay.
I'm so glad that Smartsheet is such a low code for Bridge.
Yeah, that's true to an extent. However, when you get more advanced implementations, it's generally better to rely on the JavaScript module for a lot of the heavy lifting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any resources that teach us more about that?
Sure. You can obviously sign up for the Smartsheet Guru Elite, and I'll help you in there. If you're trying to learn JavaScript, I like W3 schools, but there are several sources out there.
Awesome. And we can just reach out to you to get those?
Yep, definitely. Smartsheetguru.com/contact. Or better yet, sign up for my email list, smartsheetguru.com/tips. I'll send you some tips and you'll be able to know how to reach me.
Some. I will definitely sign up for those.
Yep.
All right. What do we do next?
We're going to want to update the column. So find under Smartsheet, there is an update column workflow. There we go. Okay. So we'll have to start filling this out. The sheet ID there, that will be the sheet ID of your destination sheet, the one that you want to update.
Easy enough to get.
Yep. Then you got to get the column ID. You know how to get the column ID?
I do. I have a little trick.
Oh, yeah. So you have SS feature installed. That's perfect. Just go ahead and copy that column ID. If you're not familiar with SS features, you can find more about that and get a free trial at smartsheetguru.com/SS features.
Amazing. I use it constantly.
Yep. Me too. I like,
Then, do I need to fill out the name as well, or is the column ID all I need?
no, just the column ID. And the column ID is
Perfect.
better because then if the name changes, you're not going to break your workflow.
Some. And then
Yep.
the type of my column is a multi-select.
Okay. That's correct. And the value is going to be the value from the array management step previously. And the easiest way to get that is go to your run log and copy it.
Mhm.
Yep, there it is. And you want to grab the results array, correct? Copy data reference,
Okay. And then
paste that in there. Yep. And I want to note here too, we pasted that array in. You can actually type values in. Do
I
you ever?
like to have the value of none available. So if nobody's absent for the day, they could select none.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Yes. Just type the word none in there. Hit enter, and there you go.
Why is it not scrolling all the way over? There it is.
Yeah, the interface is a little funny here. Okay. Do you want to restrict to the allowed values only?
Yes.
Yep. So let's check that box. And I think we should be good here.
I
Let's
have
save it.
3 different columns I need to update with the same information.
Okay. But you didn't tell me about that.
I'm telling you now.
Okay.
Can I
Well,
do it
that
all in
changes.
the same bridge?
Yes, you can.
Awesome.
Just add another update column. Unfortunately, we cannot copy these in here. So you'll have to just fill them out again.
Right. So let me add my values real quick before I go back and get my column IDs. And I can copy my sheet ID.
Okay. So these columns are on the same sheet.
They are.
Okay.
But if I was updating several sheets, I could do that all from the same bridge.
You good?
That is pretty cool. Now I copy this one, paste it in. and use it again. Copy this one and paste it in. All
Yep.
right.
Go
So
ahead and save
now
that.
I have 3 columns being updated from the same information.
Correct.
So I have my who's present for the day, who's absent excused, and who's absent unexcused.
Okay.
So now we run it.
Yep. Go ahead and run it.
All right. See what happened.
Yep. This is where you click your heels together 3 times and see what happens.
There's no place like Smartsheet Guru Elite. There's
There you
no
go.
place like Smartsheet Guru Elite. All right, but it's only showing me one update column.
Correct. This run log does that. I do believe if we put states in between each one of these, we would see all the results,
Got it.
but it did update them.
Okay, let's go take a peek. So refresh on my sheet real quick. All right, and there's all of my employees plus my option of none
Great.
in all 3 columns.
Yep.
Awesome. And
Yep.
now I can go ahead and do the same thing, just build another bridge from my
Correct.
other report, and it'll do the exact same thing.
Yep. It will. Unfortunately, we can't copy this bridge workflow, at least not in the same workspace. You actually could make another workspace and copy this into that workspace. And that would be okay for the simple workflow if you really wanted to copy it over. You'd have to reconnect that new workspace to Smartsheet. But
Got it.
yep. So now let's look at your triggers. So there are a couple different ways we can trigger that. We got trigger. If you want to do on a schedule trigger, you just click that and go to schedules, add new schedule, and then you could choose when to start it and the start date and the frequency. Now, the other option is we could look at triggering from your source sheet. So let's leave the schedule here. Let's cancel that. Is that what you want to try to do? Is use the sheet to trigger this? So it'd be a little more instant. Let's
Not the
go.
parent workflows.
No, let's go back to your sheet. I want to take a look at your sheet, the source sheet in Smartsheet itself.
All right.
Yeah, a roster. Okay. I have a status column in here, correct?
That's this one right here.
Okay. So if this changes, what do you change it to?
Gone.
Gone. Okay. It's very descriptive. Gone. Okay. What we could do is trigger based on when that changes. And that will apply for both of the workflows that you would create for group A and group B. So let's go ahead. Let's go to that triggers right there on the right. In integrations, you got to click that to create a trigger from the integration page.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm using
And
Smartsheet.
we're going to do Smartsheet, correct?
Look at all these other things you can do.
Oh, yeah. JavaScript is one of my favorite things to use in here. Okay. And now go to Smartsheet.
Okay.
And we're going to create a trigger. And this isn't so much true maybe for triggers, but it is a good idea to prefix the trigger name with the number of the trigger that it is. In this case, it's 1. Like it's 1 dash and then the name.
So this
Because
would be adding new employee group A.
okay. Yep. The sheet ID is, of course, the source sheet name. or ID, I should say, the source sheet ID.
Got it.
There we go. And we're going to want to do when rows are actually there's a column you can trigger on a specific column. You're going to want to say when column, not scroll down a little bit more. It's I think was column value is changed. I think it is column values are changed. Yep, there you go.
Okay.
And then you're going to get that column ID or the column. Yep, the column ID. You want to go get that. And of course, you can use your SS features to make it very easy.
That's based on my status one.
Correct. Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
And go back into here. Okay.
Yep. And then you select the workflow. There you go.
Okay.
And you're going to save that.
Okay.
And this actually attached that trigger to the workflow you just created. So let's go ahead and let's mark one of them gone. See what happens.
Okay. So change one of them to gone.
Yep.
Okay. And go back to my sheet. Change. We'll say Andy's left.
Okay.
And save.
And now we just sit and wait. So let's go to the destination sheet. You can watch for it in Bridge too here if you want. As you refresh that, it will actually show up in the run log. So yeah, let's stay there. Let's watch it in the run log. And it can take a minute or two to run. So just be patient. Just trying to
In
work.
the
Try not to.
meantime, we can list off everything we love about the Wizard Boss.
There you go. We can follow Yellow Brick Road. Oh, wow. There we go. It's waiting. We've been waiting a while. And you know what they say? Wait broke the bridge. So hopefully that doesn't break a Smartsheet Bridge, though. Okay. Oh, it completed. Great. Yeah.
Full service here at Smartsheet Guru.
Yes. The jokes are free, by the way. So it completed. That's great. We have the update column. Let's go to our destination sheet. That I forgot what you called it. The employee
attendant.
Let's go ahead. Let's look at the drop down there. Oh, and Andy's no longer there.
He's no longer there.
Great.
So what happens when I add a new person and change them to full time?
Let's find out.
So let's add Street Beet Farm employee. Hit save.
You just sit and wait and hope that the wait don't break the bridge.
And so now, because my report has anybody filtered out who's gone, that's why they're removed.
Correct.
And now, because I've added a new employee and my filters on my report bring that new person in, that's why it's updating.
That is correct.
Watch me get it in real time.
Yep. Yep. Of course, we could do some filtering in Bridge in the workflow itself. A little more advanced. The report is easy. That could be a session for another time.
I like that it updates automatically,
Yep.
almost immediately.
It's running. That's good.
There it is. And there it goes.
Okay, let's check it out. See if it worked.
Great. There they are.
There it is. Yep. And you can notice it kept the order that's in the sheet itself.
What if I have it sorted in my report?
Even better.
Okay. And then, so whatever my report sort is, then it just takes it from there?
Yep, it would.
Perfect.
In fact, let's try that too.
So I can sort, let's say, descending.
Okay. Shake things up a bit.
Now that's on top and that's on the bottom.
Yep. And you can go ahead. You can run it manually.
Right? Run. And there it is completed. Let's go back to my sheet. There they are in reverse order.
Yep. They're in reverse order. And the none is at the bottom because you added that at the very end of in Bridge after the array.
That's exactly where I want it. So
Perfect. It's even better than adding a fake employee called none.
which I did have for the longest time, was just a fake employee
Yep.
named None.
They don't need to do that anymore.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darren.
Yeah, definitely.
Remind me again where I can get the SS features for a discount.
Smartsheetguru.com/SS features. And
Amazing.
if you want to learn more advanced Smartsheet techniques, you can join us in the Smartsheet Guru Elite. You can visit smartsheetelite.com for that.
Will those links be down below in the description?
They will be.
Amazing.
Okay.
Thanks, Darren.
Yep. Thank you.